Hey, so today's video is called Be Hesitant to Work with Direct Response Companies. And just a quick disclaimer, direct response is not the issue. It's usually the people that use direct response. Not all direct response companies are bad. Not all direct response copywriters are bad. This is just my take from someone who's written for direct response companies, someone who's built a few direct response companies himself, and just the insights I've seen from just working in the direct response industry. By the way, if you don't know who I am, my name is Eric Giovanni, founder and CEO of brand copywriting agency Diamo, where we help brands get their messaging right and put it in the market. And the reason I'm making this video is so that you don't hire a copywriter in direct response and not know what you're getting into, or you don't even work with a direct response company and get burned by one, because they typically, on a very consistent basis, will burn the customers that they have, and they'll have a very low success rate with the products and services that they deliver. So let's get started. Like I said, title of this video is Be Hesitant to Work with or Buy from a Direct Response Company, and it should also say copywriter. And like I said, there's a reason why it says don't work with or buy from a direct response company. It's just be hesitant to do it, because not all of them are bad. Like I said, direct response isn't the issue, it's the people that use them. Here are some of the people that use direct response marketing on a very consistent basis. If you don't know who these people are, you can look them up. I will not tell you how to feel about them. I will just mention their names right here, so you don't have my judgment. You can make your own judgment. Here's some signs of direct response. You'll usually see fake testimonials or just an influx of testimonials in general. And the way you find out if they're fake is you can just do a reverse image search on Google. And the way you can do that is just right click on your mouse and do search with Google, or search with search image on Google. If these images if you find these images on like stock photo websites or just on other websites, chances are this is like a fake testimonial, and chances are the product or service this company is selling is probably not a great product or service, because they wouldn't use a fake testimonial to begin with. That also comes down to fake urgency, fake scarcity, and that's specifically with scarcity that isn't status driven, and fake stories. A lot of copywriters that write for direct response companies will use all these tactics under the sun to sell you something, and that is completely fine if it's not fake. But most companies will use something like Deadline Funnel or other software to make believe that their products, especially digital products, have a limit on them, or they will put a fake timer on a product and just reopen the product the next day to make you think that you only have a few hours or a few days or a few weeks to buy something, when in reality the product is probably evergreen. And if you think about it, like, what business would limit the amount of products they have unless they actually have a limit on products? Like, you don't need a limit on digital products, but most direct response companies will lead into this fake scarcity to deliver or to get more profits internally. Additionally, another sign of direct response company is very long form copy, and it's mostly text based. Like, there won't be a lot of pretty images on the copy. You'll see this copy with emails, text messages, advertisements like Facebook ads, Twitter ads, stuff like this. You'll also see it in direct mail. You'll see it on there was even a Super Bowl commercial that ran a long form direct response copywriting ad. And like I said, it's not the type of marketing that these brands do. It's just most of the time the people that run direct response are just shady and don't really care about the results they deliver. So that's why I'm making this video. Another sign of direct response is just conversions, is short-term conversions messaging. So anytime you get an interaction, or anytime you interact with one of these brands, they will be persuading you to take an action, and it's usually to buy something. It's usually to sign up for like a lead magnet or something to exchange for your information. It's usually to do something very quick, and usually to just get your money as soon as possible. And they will have a ton of upsells, they'll have a ton of downsells, they'll have a ton of cross sells, and they'll even include order bumps just to milk out as much profit as they can from you. And like I said, there is nothing wrong or right with this. It's just the fact that because they're so driven on conversions, they have no time to work on product, And that is just a red flag anytime you're working with a company. And the reason I'm making this video, just to go back to that, is because copywriters who work in this industry tend to do all these things and tend to find no fault or find it okay to do these things. And so if you bring a copywriter like this into your brand, you will dilute your brand messaging because they'll use all these tactics to write for your brand, and that's not something you want if you have strong brand value. Additionally, most of this copy is psychologically persuasive, and it just ties back to the fake urgency, the fake scarcity that isn't status driven, the fake stories. You can only tell so many stories. Like, no one has unlimited stories, but most direct response copywriters will fabricate stories or come up with stories or have a copywriter write stories for them that are just not real or just fabricated or just do not have full truths. And the reason I know this is because I've written for these direct response companies. I've written for several of them. I've also written for brands, and there's a clear difference in the way these types of marketing approach their messaging in market. And finally, the biggest thing that will probably stand out with the direct response company is these outlandish guarantees or these outlandish headlines, meaning they will promise things in relationships to your health, wealth, or your personal relationships and tie in guarantees and headlines. So what that means is they'll write things like make $100,000 tomorrow without doing any work, or get the girl of your dreams or guy of your dreams in 2 weeks following this simple dating formula, or lose 30 pounds tomorrow, or lose 30 pounds in 3 weeks with this pill. Like, obviously these are not real things, but most people fall for these things because they tie in a certain demographic, a certain niche, a certain audience to make the messaging feel like it's more personalized. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with personalization. There's nothing wrong with psychological selling. There's nothing wrong with these things if the products you're delivering or services you're delivering are ethical. But the reason that direct response companies have to use all these psychological and persuasive messaging is because their products usually suck. Their services usually suck. If you think about it, most big brands that you buy from on a daily basis, for example, if you're buying from Netflix, if you're buying from Hulu, if you buy a car from like Mercedes, they don't rely on any of this kind of messaging. Maybe they'll send you a direct mail piece, or maybe they'll send you an email, but it'll be very branded and it'll rely on the weight of the brand to sell you and the status of the brand and the prestige of the brand that it's already built in market for years, instead of doing all this psychological BS, because there is always a clear result with the product that a brand will sell you versus a direct response company. Most of the times, if you have a direct response company selling you something, it's not very clear as to how they get to the result, so they have to use all these psychological manipulation to get you to buy and feel like you need a product that you don't really need. So, like I said, my name is Eric DiGiovanni, brand copywriter, founder and CEO of Diamo, where we help brands put their messaging in the market without using all this unethical BS. If you like a video like this, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Also, make sure to follow us on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/company/Diamo. And also give me a follow on LinkedIn, or shoot me a question, comment, concern, linkedin.com/n/EricDD. If you like videos like this, make sure to subscribe, and I hope to see you in the next video. All right, take care. Diamo.